Hello everyone. The last RC mission, didn't really go to plan, did it? The old pull start snapped on the Savage and the rotor start come loose on the other car. So, what I've got, I'm on my way down to Active Scale. It's a nice Saturday morning. I did ring them up and I said, can you get me all this? They said, oh no, all these parts are all discontinued. It's all too old. The K series and everything's all discontinued. All the parts are all discontinued. So I said, oh right, can't get me a roto start bit or nothing. So I said, well, if I bring it down and we have a look, see if you've got any that fit. He said, all right, bring it down. So I got the engine out of the car. I've taken the screws out of the pull start so I can take it off easily. That's that. I'm going to see if I can get a new foam while I'm there for the air filter. And also, just I won't be buying it today because it costs a lot of money. I think about 120 quid I see on the internet. But I want to see if they can get me a T15 engine to go in the Rush for the project. So I'm taking along the bottom end, a bit of block, just to see. I don't know what I did with the mount actually. Anyway, I'm taking it along just to see if they can, help me out and get me an engine so I can put that in the Rush or something similar to put in the Rush. So off we go. An hour's trip to Active Scale. I'll see you when we get there. Well, after being in there for about an hour, we've come up with, because they didn't do the shaft with the one-way bearing in there from the old pull start. Didn't I can't get it out now, but that was the wrong size. They don't do the pull start, they're discontinued, and the roto starts. They couldn't find the roto start kits or anything, I don't think either. So what they've done, very goodly. Where's it gone? Oh no, I've lost it. Oh, there it is. They put one on it. He put one on it for me. It's not a direct match because we're missing, so we've got 3 screws. But that just goes on there, that lovely pull start, and that works wonderfully. So we've got a new one-way bearing shaft in there with a new pull start, and I bought a spare one while I was at it because now I know what one I use. I can just keep that. £21.49. Yes, I put that on there. Got a spare one. I wanted to see if I can get another one of these engines to put in the Rush, and they can get me a slightly bigger one that fits for £109. So once Christmas is over and I've managed to save up a little bit of money again, I'll be going and getting that. But for now, let's go home and get this Savage going. And yes, lovely jubbly. Alright then, you lot. Right, before I put any of this Savage back together, Savages down here. Before I put any of it back together and put them bearings, I've got some new bearings as well for the clutch bell, because it didn't have any bearings in it. I've decided I'm going to sell this one. So if anyone sees it up for sale, don't buy it unless you're willing to put a bit of effort into it to get it going, because it's, I don't know man, it's just so, it come from Nitrotech, and you lot know my opinions and relationship with Nitrotech, so we'll leave it at that. It's a good buggy-ish, it's had very little use. It has been used by the person I swapped it with, but very little. So if you're willing to have a look at it, get the rotor start working, all it needs is the rotor start to work. Needs the thing screwing back on, and it needs the actual rotor start system little unit thing there to be worked or repaired or whatever. So yeah, so if you're interested in it, then obviously you're welcome to buy it, but as subscribers of mine and viewers, I would recommend you don't, unless, like I said, you're willing to put some effort into it. Buy it knowing that it needs some work anyway. And I'm going to put that up on the internet for sale and hopefully get rid of that, because that's no good. Then I put this together, and I found out as well, like I think I said about they said they can find a they get me another engine for the Rush, so I might get that going. Gonna go down with me mate to Active Scale, because he wants to, the idea was he was gonna have a go at that one when I was gonna get that going. He was gonna have a go at that and I was gonna use a Savage. But the thing is, I'm learning now that all the parts for these Savage 21s and Rushes and things are bloody hard to get hold of. Even eBay, I can't even find ones to break from eBay. So I'm kind of thinking it may pay to sell a load of stuff and buy a new nitro truck. Maybe. I'm not saying I'm gonna, so don't. But I'm just saying it may. I think that's what he's gonna do. Hopefully, he'll buy a new one. Then he won't have all this trouble of these old ones. And I'll find some parts to repair me old vintage ones, as they are now vintage, I suppose. I'll find some parts, repair them, and just use them every now and again. But I'll buy a new one to actually proper abuse. I think that's what I may do. I'm not saying I'm gonna, but I may do that. So that might be the plan. But we're going to go down to Active Scout because they're open over. They're only closed on Christmas Day. So today being Saturday, the 22nd of December, they're open tomorrow. They're open Monday, Christmas Eve, and they're open Boxing Day, and then continuously after that, apart from New Year's Day. So I'm probably going to go down there. Hopefully he'll buy a new one. Fingers crossed he'll buy a new one, and that'll be good. So that's the plan anyway. So yep, gonna put the new bearings in the bell housing and put that engine back together with the new pull start on it. Lovely, look at that. It's got a new pull start. I need to get a new filter for that filter, but I'm well happy with that. Properly happy. And stick this up on it and get rid of it. I'll just set it cheap as I just to get rid of it as cheap as I can. And my recommendation is to anybody: just don't go to Nitrotech because it'll put you off the hobby. The hobby's not about crap. The hobby's about decent things. HPI, decent, proper quality part. You know, if it's quality, not this HSP, HISP, fucking crap. It ain't about that. Don't go to Nitrotech. Right then. So before we put this engine back in. It's got my aluminium clutch in there. I remember fitting that. The focus on it. The plastic ones, they didn't last very long at all. No, they didn't. I would like to get a heavy duty bell housing as well. Actually, they do the heavy duty ones. I think they still do them. They're on eBay anyway. Whether they're real ones or not, I don't know. But part of it's falling apart. There's some of the bearing. The reason it was so loose. As you know what, I thought I did put bearings in there, but because it was so loose and flopping around when they went in the shop, I've got no bearings in it. I was like, yeah, it probably hasn't. Well, I thought I did, but look, if it will focus on it, there we go. It's broken down somewhat. So I've got 2 new bearings here. So I'll install those now, and then we can get the engine back in. And then we can go from there. I do record the 3-speed gearbox that I put in. I had a 2-speed gearbox, but I went on a beach and some sand got in there somehow and crunched it all up. So I bought a 3-speed gearbox, but it would never change. It would never shift. It would always stay in gear 1, no matter how the adjustments are in here. And you adjust them with an Allen key. You can adjust how close you want them to shift. And yeah, that was it. How close you want it to shift, but it never did work from the day I put it in. It's never worked. So I'll play around with that once I get this running. But yeah, proper pleased at the moment. So anyway, I'm gonna put these bearings in. We'll go from there. Well, I dropped the other bearing and lost it, the old one. But the new ones ain't much cop because where the bell housing has worn so much over the years from having them bearings about. The new bearing just slotted straight in there. Now the thing is, when you have a bearing, it needs to be quite tight in the housing that it's in order for it to grip and actually let the bearing do its thing. Now it's worn away, it's so loose, it's not actually doing anything. So instead of the bearing actually doing its thing, the bell housing is going around on the bearing, if that makes sense to you. Those of you that know what I'm talking about will understand, but those of you that don't, it may be difficult. But the bell housing is supposed to grip on the outside of the bearing, yeah. So the actual balls inside the bearing go around, but this isn't. You see, it's too loose, so it's not going to do its job. It's still loose. It goes up and down. It shouldn't do that. That should be quite tight on there. It shouldn't be loose like that. But that's the way that the cookie crumbles. I'm going to run it like that because I intend on getting a new bell housing. I intend on getting a heavy duty one. I've got a spare bearing now anyway, so if that bearing was to mess up, I've got a spare one there, so that's all good. So yeah, engine goes in. got an exhaust leak, so it don't give enough back pressure to stop it. Whew, man. Should have opened the door, really. I had it running for about 3 or 4 minutes before you saw it. Holy cow, man. Yeah, it runs. Bloody runs a bit lean towards the end of it, but we can richen it up, because those of you that are long time subscribers of mine, and I'm talking like 7 years, will remember that I lost the jet. I lost the mid-range jet. Well, you know, I was flying around a park somewhere, and then all of a sudden it started running really bad. I'm surprised it still ran, but it ran really bad. And when I looked, the jet was missing. So I went off to Trusty Heath's RC Models and got a new jet. Then I didn't fit it for about 4 years until I dug this truck out, and I fitted it. And it's the first time it's run properly with that jet. So it's going to need some adjustment, mid-range. It's got 3 ranges: low speed, mid-range, and high speed, which is brilliant. That the engines don't these days. So I'm about to die because it's making me shake, man, because of the breathing out smoke. Nitro is really bad. The smoke really gets up your nose, really gets in your throat. It's worse than diesel, it's worse than anything. But it's nice, I like the smell of it when it burns. It doesn't help that fuel, the fuel in here that's old. It's very old. I don't know what's happened to the bottle of it. Oh, it's here. That's the bottle of it, God below me. So it doesn't help. So that's really old, but really happy with that. Sweet. So that's fully up and running now. That's fully operational. So we can go out for a little drive and that when we get a chance. Bearing in mind today's Saturday, nearly Christmas. I've had loads of offers on that so far. I put it up about an hour ago. People are offering me left, right and centre. And asking me questions. Really happy about that. So that might be going. Lovely.